Dingerine, Baby Yoda and Frog Lady are on their way to a planet where they all hope to find what they need to secure their future. With their spaceship, the Razor Crest, almost completely demolished, this will be a rough ride. Will they reach their destination in one piece? Hi there, it's Micha. Come inside and we will find out together. I just watched Chapter 11, The Heiress, and would love to share my thoughts with you. Like in the last two videos, I will utilize callouts from my friend Neal, who is a Star Wars superfan and notices many hidden details I would never be able to put into the right context. Neal is also the guy who provides the music for this video. Thanks, mate. Stay tuned till the end of the video to hear this week's quiz question and find out the solution to last week's quiz. Well, let's jump back in. Like last time, the episode picks up exactly where the previous one left off, with the Razor Crest heavily damaged from its crash on the ice planet, on its way to the moon of Trask. The three passengers, the Frog Lady, Mando and the child, are cooped up in the cockpit, the only place properly sealed and without hull damages. They reach Trask with almost no fuel left, so they need to drop through the atmosphere, trying not to burn to a crisp, and start the brake thrusters right before they hit the ground, a platform surrounded by the ocean. They survive, but for comedic purposes, their ship then slips sideways into the ocean. Mando pays a bystanding Mon Calamari mechanic to fix the freshly salvaged Razor Crest, but he can only promise to make it fly. Frog Lady then reunites with her mate, who is credited as, I kid you not, Frogman, a friendly guy who immediately points Din to a restaurant owner with knowledge of fellow Mandalorians, which also allows Mando to get the child something to eat. A nice chowder with a surprise ingredient. The mediator introduces Din to some fishermen who offers to take the two as passengers to the place where the other Mandalorians stay. But the helpful trawlers soon turn against Din, wanting his valuable Beskar armor. By kicking Baby Yoda's hovering stroller into an onboard pool that holds a Mammacore, a large and fierce tentacle monster that swallows the child and his crib whole, they capture our hero as he tries to save the child. Enter three Mandalorians in heavy armor, killing all the hostile fishermen and saving both Din and Baby Yoda. As they introduce themselves, they are removing their helmets, prompting Din to ask where they got the suits, as they are obviously no Mandalorians. The leader of the group, a woman named Bo-Katan, explains that the suit is in her family for 3 generations. She was born on Mandalore, late during the Purge as the last of her line, making her a real Mandalorian and, by the way, the heiress to the throne. She further explains that only the Children of the Watch, a cult that wants to return to the ancient ways, would not take off their helmets. A group that doesn't play well with the Mandalorian mainstream society. Din says that he is on a mission to find the Jedi, and with the words that there is only the way of the Mandalore, he and the child leave, while the group sinks the fishing boat. Back on dry land, the brother of the treacherous fisher wants revenge, meaning killing Din's pet, Baby Yoda. Again, the cavalry appears, saving the day, or at least expedite Din's win, which buys them a talk over dinner, where Bo-Katan explains that rumors about Mandalore being inhabitable are lies to separate their people, because Mandalorians are stronger together. This is propagated by surviving loyalists who try to rebuild the fallen empire by using loot plundered from Mandalore to buy weapons. She asks for his help to steal those weapons from a cargo ship mid-ascent, in exchange for the contact data of a Jedi, to which Mando agrees. As babysitters, Din asks the, let's call them the Froggers, for help, which they love to offer. Mando reminds Baby Yoda that as a guest, he needs to be well behaved, while looking at the frog eggs in the glass cylinder, where to the child's delight, moments later, the first egg opens to reveal a cute little tadpole. The mission on board the cargo freighter progresses quite smoothly. until Bo-Katan changes the plan to not just take the weapons, but the whole ship. As otherwise the scoundrels would inform on them and then they would get hunted down. Din is shocked as Bo just changed the terms of their deal, something completely out of tune with the Mandalorian's creed, to which she mockingly answers, "This is the way." As the Empire realizes that the ship is lost, the commander kills the pilots and goes into a suicide dive, while the attack team gets pinned down by troopers using the new and extremely efficient weapons. In a heroic act, Mando charges the troopers and blows them up with grenades, winning the battle. In the cockpit, Bo-Katan questions the commander about Moff Gideon's whereabouts and if he has the Darksaber. Before he can provide a proper answer, he kills himself with an electronic cyanide pill equivalent. Bo-Katan offers Din a place on her side in the fight against the Empire, but at least for now he has a mission that comes first. She gives him the promised name and location of a Jedi, and they say goodbye with an amicable "This is the way." The episode ends with Din picking up the child, who plays happily with a tadpole, seemingly really behaving well. Returning to the ship that was provisionally repaired, apparently mostly with fishing net and rope, heading to the forest planet of Corvus, where a Jedi named Ahsoka Tano is located. Before they jump to hyperspace, a tiny Mammacore tries to attack the child, but is caught and killed mid-jump by Din and slurped down by Baby Yoda with a happy smack. Well, obviously the question on everyone's mind is, why Frog Man and not Frog Gentleman, when his mate is the Frog Lady? Just kidding though. This was another episode that didn't disappoint. Let's start with a strong cast this week. Katie Sackhoff makes her first appearance as Bo-Katan, after previously starring in the sci-fi series Battlestar Galactica and having a recurring role in The Flash. And, of course, after voicing someone named Bo-Katan in the animated Star Wars shows? What a coincidence. So the rumors of Bo-Katan making an appearance this season seem less prophetic when most likely Katie was announced in an unnamed role, which pretty much suggested this. By the way, even though I uploaded the review where we called out that rumor after this episode aired, I hadn't seen it yet, I swear. Giancarlo Esposito has a quick appearance as Moff Gideon's hologram, and Titus Welliver plays the Imperial Commander in a, typical for him, and for this show for that matter, short stint dying way too soon. Mercedes Varnado, who is, fun fact, Snoop Dogg's cousin, and also known as WWE wrestler Sasha Banks, stars as one of the other Mandalorians in her first acting role. You know what I mean. This episode opened so many doors for the uninitiated like me who doesn't know all canon Star Wars literature or even the animated TV shows. We learn that not all Mandalorians wear their helmet all the time, and again see in Din a quite open-minded individual, able to re-evaluate his life and upbringing, as though he was raised with this strict creed and doesn't share Bo-Katan's point of view. By using the shared phrase, "this is the way" at their goodbye, he signals that he understands that different societies may have a different understanding of what the way is, and none has to be wrong. Maybe there is a middle way? There it is again, the recurring topic of navigating the grey areas. This will most likely be food for Din Djarin's thoughts, making him question some of his beliefs and maybe even leading to him lifting his helmet in front of others in the future. Another topic that wins more and more clarity is Din taking on the father role. After being a protector in the beginning, the relationship becomes more intimate and caring, with callouts like, "I know you're hungry, we will get you something soon," just by looking at the child, and the typical "don't play with your food" quip before he kills the little creature in the chowder that Baby Yoda then quickly gobbles down. Also a running gag by now, that the little one eats every creepy crawler he gets his fingers on. The biggest change may come by the simple fact that the hovering stroller is now broken, and Mando has to carry the child in his arms most of the time, which couldn't have looked more fatherly as in the scene on board of a fishing boat, after the other Mandalorians rescue the little one and hand him to a thankful Din. For me, it became quite obvious that the child will remain in Din's care permanently, as an adoptive son, Jedi or not. And who knows, being a foundling himself, maybe Din turns out to be a Jedi as well, ultimately on the mission to find himself. You never know. I appreciate how soft-spoken the tough Dingerine can be when he engages with kind people, like he does in the beginning when he met Frogman. Other things I really liked in this episode were the looks the lower-level henchmen exchanged when they became aware of their approaching death, especially the pilots of the freighter. Also, this episode being directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, daughter of Ron Howard, I assume the entering the atmosphere sequence where the Razor Crest almost burns up in the beginning was a nod to Daddy's sequence in Apollo 13. If so, well done. If not, also well done and never mind. Aside from the fact that a lot of new motives were introduced, laying groundwork for future storytelling, I was surprised that the robbery of the Imperial weapons took the most screen time. Even in a very short episode of just around 35 minutes, it felt a bit drawn out. Don't get me wrong, the action was nicely captured. It just didn't give us anything eye-popping. Especially considering that you have 4 Mandalorians fighting side by side, supposedly the greatest warriors in the universe. Basically, they just stuck to the ship's side, slowly killing off troopers. It was efficient, but every other team could have done the same. I anticipated something more glorious, more Mandalorian. For a vanilla action sequence, it was just too long. I'm scoring this one with 8 out of 10 points again. Would the action scene has been more Mandalorian and less vanilla, it could have easily been a solid 9 at least. Now let's look what Neal thought of it. Neal liked that the story introduces new characters that are well known in the larger Star Wars universe. This story didn't feel like a side adventure and furthered the overall storyline, with a twist, but more on that in the Easter eggs. He liked the great action sequences and the fact that another allusion to the Alien franchise was placed, in the scene where a squid-like creature jumps from the chowder bowl into the child's face, facehugger style. No dislikes this week, though he thought a last push was missing to elevate the episode to a 9, as he also scored it with 8 out of 10 points. So this week we have our first exact agreement on the rating. Let's look at some Easter eggs that Neal dug up for us, shall we? Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan played a major role in Star Wars Clone Wars as a leader of the Night Owls and the lieutenant in the Death Watch, a terrorist group, and later during the Imperial era became Mandalore. In Star Wars Rebels, Bo-Katan became ruler of Mandalore after receiving the dark saber from Sabine Wren. For reference, both animated shows are situated somewhere between Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and Rogue, which takes place directly before Episode 4, the original Star Wars. While the events in The Mandalorian occur about 5 years after the Empire fell at the end of Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Last time we saw Bo in the animated universe, she still had the dark saber and was part of the Death Watch, which, here's the twist, doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Bo's story is long and complex, so Neal recommends you watch Clone Wars and Rebels if you want to know more. Ahsoka Tano. Bo-Katan advised that Mando seeks out the Jedi Ahsoka Tano on Corvus. Ahsoka was a Jedi and the former Padawan of Anakin Skywalker. She played a major role in the Clone Wars animated series, as well as in Star Wars Rebels. Again, her story is long and complex, and watching Clone Wars and Rebels is highly recommended if you want to know more about her background. Mon Calamari. In this episode, Mando's ship is repaired by a Mon Calamari, and we also meet another one serving in the cantina. The Mon Calamari species made their first appearance in the original trilogy, in the shape of Admiral Ackbar, the Rebel Alliance admiral who is famous for saying the line, "Eat your crap!" Mon Calamari have since been appearing in other Star Wars novels, movies, video games, as well as the animated series. Quarren. We first saw Quarren, or Squidheads, in Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi. They have since made appearances in the animated series as well as the expanded universe. The Quarren share their homeworld of Mon Cala with the aforementioned Mon Calamari, another influential amphibious species who also prefers building their cities underwater. The Quarren also resides in large numbers on the moon of Trask, where this episode takes place. So much for this week's Easter eggs. Did you like this episode? Did you love the action sequence, or were you also underwhelmed by it? Let us know in the comments. And here the answer to the quiz question from last episode. one of the 3 X-Wing pilots from Chapter 6, returns. What was the similarity between the 3 actors portraying the pilots? All 3 of them, Dave Filoni, Rick Famuyiwa and Deborah Chow, are frequent directors for this show and have in fact, between other episodes, directed the first 3 chapters of Season 1. Now to this week's question. The Imperial freighter pilot sitting on the left side looked familiar, didn't he? In which other sci-fi series have you seen him before? Let us know in the comments as well. That's it. As always, if you enjoyed this video, like it and feel free to share it with your friends. And why not subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any future video. Make sure to also hit the notification bell so you get a heads up whenever a new video is posted. So much for now, see you next time and thanks for watching!